Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. In the last 8 minutes or so, we've just gotten in some breaking news about the United States Supreme Court. A report from the website Politico reporting that the U.S. Supreme Court has voted to strike down the landmark Roe versus Wade decision, according to an initial draft majority opinion written by Justice Samuel Alito that is being circulated inside the court. Now, let's be clear about something. The fact that there is an internal document going inside the United States Supreme Court saying Roe versus Wade is going to be overturned does not necessarily mean Roe versus Wade will be overturned. This is going to take some time. It's still going to take a couple months. These kinds of internal documents get circulated at the United States Supreme Court, and changes are made, compromises, etc. But this is a very, very important development because this draft opinion from the Supreme Court is a complete repudiation of the 1973 Roe versus Wade decision. There's been a lot of talk up to this point about the way that they could narrow the Roe versus Wade decision. But according to this draft opinion written by Justice Alito, he says that Roe was egregiously wrong from the start. Again, from a draft opinion from the Supreme Court, we hold that Roe and Casey must be overruled, he writes in the document. And the document, according to Politico, is labeled as opinion of the court. That's why this is a big deal. This is not just some, maybe thing. This is not just, oh, hey, we're talking about this. This is an actual document labeled opinion of the court. We're going to have our breaking news banner up in a moment. Now, this is related to a Mississippi case where it had been effectively banning abortions after 15 weeks. But again, the sort of nuance and detail that many were talking about that might be the way that the court could resolve some of these complicated abortion issues appear to be not the way that the court is moving forward. I'm going to read you some more from this Politico report just coming into us in the last 10 minutes. It says, Roe was egregiously wrong from the start. Its reasoning was exceptionally weak, and the decision has had damaging consequences. And far from bringing about a national settlement of the abortion issue, Roe and Casey have inflamed debate and deepened division. Now, another thing, then this would, of course, mean that Alito is being joined by Clarence Thomas, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett, who had apparently voted with Alito in their initial conference vote. What is also striking is that Politico received a draft of this, and they say it's from a person familiar with the court's proceedings in the Mississippi case, along with other details supporting the authenticity of the document. And they give details about it. They say the draft opinion runs 98 pages, including a 31-page appendix of historical state abortion laws. The document is replete with citations to previous court decisions, books, and other authorities, and includes 118 footnotes. And they even admit, Politico, in their report, say the disclosure of Alito's draft majority opinion is a rare breach of Supreme Court secrecy and tradition around its deliberations. And it comes as all sides in the abortion debate are girding for the ruling. Speculation about the looming decision, again, I'm reading from this Politico exclusive blockbuster story, has been intense since the December oral arguments indicated a majority was inclined to support the Mississippi law. Now, the opinion goes on to give some of the reasoning, and it says, and I'm going to read again from more of the draft opinion that could very well overturn Roe versus Wade. The inescapable conclusion is that a right to abortion is not deeply rooted in the nation's histories and traditions. Alito skewered the Roe versus Wade opinion, saying the Constitution does not prohibit the citizens of each state from regulating or prohibiting abortion. The draft opinion concludes, Roe and Casey arrogated that duty We now overrule those decisions and return that authority to the people and their elected representatives. Again, to restate this, this is a draft opinion obtained by Politico from the United States Supreme Court. Things can change, but when you have an opinion of the court circulated on a decision like this, I think it is unlikely that the court will change its mind. I think the thing they're going to be focusing more on is how the heck this thing leaked. But it is also interesting to note that it seems that Justice John Roberts voted with the liberal justices on what appears to be this draft opinion. And let's go to Michael Moore, the former U.S. attorney for the Central District of Georgia. He was booked to be on a different topic today, Michael, but we asked you to jump in when this happened 8 minutes before the show began.
Sure.
Are you surprised? Are you surprised by the Supreme Court's ruling, if this ends up being the final ruling?
I'm not terribly surprised given the makeup of the court. I am more surprised that the opinion was leaked, given the secrecy of the court and their deliberative process. So I think that the conservative justices of late have made it clear and have been so completely coy during their questioning that you could read between the lines that they had every intention to do this, and their word to the contrary or their protestations about precedent and such as that, be damned. And so I'm not terribly surprised, and this is the consequence of elections. I hope that some of the Republican senators who saw fit to take them at their word maybe now are seeing that they were boondoggled as well.
But here's the thing. I mean, there are separate issues. There are political issues and there are legal issues, right? I mean, there is an argument to be made that this legal decision, which is a win for the conservatives, could be a tricky one on the political front for them as well, particularly in swing states like the state you're in, of Georgia.
Right. They may very well have given the midterms and the presidency to the Democrats in the next go-around. I think you'll see a movement amongst female voters like you've never seen before, with the idea that somehow control of their own bodies is not a constitutional right, if in fact the opinion stays as it's written, and that there's not this inherent right to control your own body. So I think that's something that we'll see played out in campaigns going forward. And if the opinion comes out in the next month or two, we'll see it in as short a time as the November midterm.
Let me read some more from this Politico article that, again, has exclusively obtained what appears to be a draft opinion overturning Roe versus Wade in the United States Supreme Court. It says that Justice Alito addressed concerns about the impact the decision could have on public discourse. Quote, "We cannot allow our decisions to be affected by any extraneous influences, such as concern about the public's reaction to our work. We do not pretend to know how our political system or society will respond to today's decision overruling Roe and Casey. And even if we could foresee what will happen, we would have no authority to let that knowledge influence our decision." Now, let's keep in mind that one of the issues, and you heard Michael Moore referring to this, is the issue of precedent. And that is something where the Supreme Court typically defers to previous decisions and says, well, we don't want to get in the business every day of overturning a decision that we disagree with, that a previous court had done, and so you show deference. And Alito's opinion includes about 2 pages worth of decisions in which the justices overruled prior precedents, in many instances reaching results praised by liberals. And I think that is going to be an important point here for the conservative defenders of this opinion. And Alito, and I'm going to now just read one paragraph from this Politico article. It says, while Alito's draft opinion doesn't cater much to Roberts' views, portions of it seem intended to address the specific interests of other justices. One passage argues that social attitudes towards out-of-wedlock pregnancies have changed drastically since the 1970s, and that increased demand for adoption makes abortion less necessary. That sounds like a policy assessment more than a legal analysis. But it says much of Alito's draft is devoted to arguing that widespread criminalization of abortion during the 19th and early 20th century belies the notion that a right to abortion is implied in the Constitution. So what we don't have at this point is the dissents in this case, and it seems that at least the 3 liberal justices are expected to file dissents. But do you agree with me, Michael Moore, that the fact that this is labeled as an opinion, that apparently we know that there are 5 justices who are agreeing to it, makes it very likely that this is ultimately going to be the ruling of the court?
I think so. I mean, I think given the justices and the makeup of the court that we know, I think it is likely. You know, anytime you have somebody who's a political appointee and they've spent their lifetime trying to garner favor with the politicians to be appointed to a lifetime post like on the Supreme Court, when they turn around and tell you that they don't want to be viewed as political, you know, you could take that and put it in your flower bed and grow some big bushes, because it's just nonsense. Clearly, they're worried about politics. Clearly, they're thinking about it. This was, I'm sure, you will recall discussions about whether or not they committed to the Federalist Society to vote this way or to try to overturn Roe v. Wade. That's a fact.
But I think John Roberts has gone a long way to try to uphold the reputation of the court, whether you agree with John Roberts or you don't. Liberals don't like him. Conservatives don't like him now. I get it. He's probably the single most unpopular justice now in the Supreme Court, but he's gone a long way to try to maintain the sanctity of the court. Michael J. Moore, I got to take a break here. Thank you very much for coming on the program. Thank you for stepping in on a topic that we did not expect to be talking to you about. We are going to take a break here. I'm going to figure out if we're going to do more on this breaking news. We're also going to talk coming up about this manhunt that's intensifying for a confessed killer and the corrections officer who may have helped him escape from custody. Both are now believed to be armed and dangerous. That's coming up as well. Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.